Well, good morning. We are out in Bangkok, Thailand, enjoying a walk here at Benchikitty Park. And today, we're going to talk about why I think that I've fallen in love with Southeast Asia, why I really don't want to live in the West anymore. But more importantly is, we're not going to talk about the various things that are happening in the West and, things that divide people. That's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the root of the problem. And that's something I don't think that people really discuss much. If you walked into a doctor's office and all they did is explain to you what the symptoms are that you're feeling, you're like, doctor, I knew that when I walked in. I knew exactly how I was feeling when I walked in. I want you to tell me what it is that's causing this. Today we're going to talk about three things that I think that are happening in the Western world, and especially in my home country of the US, which I love. Doesn't mean I don't like the US, but it just means that I understand the US. And we're going to talk about what I think is happening there to cause what is basically pushing people like me out of that country to travel and live abroad the way that I do and the way more people are doing. Today we're also going to enjoy ourselves at Chef Bing's Pizza. Absolutely. I love that whenever I come to Bangkok. I get a good pepperoni pizza, really well made. And of course, we've got to stop at Chef Bing's. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about today as we enjoy walking around this busy city here in Bangkok. Let's get going. Traveling the world as a minimalist with one backpack, that is what we do here. Subscribe and come along with Retire and Go. We might as well not start light. You know me. If I'm going to start, I'm going to start from the neck. All right? One of the big reasons why a lot of people like me are leaving the West is because the community, the relationship, the interaction between people has basically gone sour. What does that mean? Well, there's two things that I can see that's happened. First is I think through social media, people have become more disconnected than ever. I don't think we even communicate well anymore. I don't think we're able to communicate our ideas in long form like I am doing to you right now. Instead, we communicate ideas in a few sentences or in a 30-second clip. And that's part of what's training the brains of people in the West, and especially in my home country, the US, not really to think about issues, but to basically use their emotions to shout and scream ideas at each other. They can't really sit down and discuss because it's not how their brain has been conditioned. We are biological creatures, okay? Our brain is going to condition itself to its environment. And the environment for the last few decades has been short form content, a few sentences, even like a meme, putting a whole idea into one picture. And while sometimes that can be effective or at least efficient, it doesn't allow for this type of long form explanation of ideas. And it certainly doesn't allow for the return of an opposing idea, which is so important in life. I've always believed in what's called the scientific method. And the scientific method says if someone disagrees with you, it is actually beneficial to you to sit down and listen how they disagree with your thesis, okay? If you say, this is the way it is, this is what I believe, okay, fine. But other people might look at you and say, I disagree with you. And under the scientific method, it is, let's sit down and I want you to explain to me why you disagree with me. I want that because in your wisdom, there might be something that makes me say, wait a minute, you're right about this. I was wrong about something, thank you. That's part of how two people interact. That's not happening in the West anymore. But there's another side to how basically community and relationships have broken down in the West. And that is through the interaction between men and women. The interaction of men and women is so important for society. It's important that that's how we grow a society and create relationships, create families, and create children that go on to be the next generation. And I think that loving, caring, respectful, and also just the sort of respect of how different we are between men and women, I think that's broken down. And why do I think that's happened? I just think that also kind of goes back to social media again. I don't think that we're really having a sit-down conversation anymore. Instead, we're just taking in information online. But also, I don't think that we really respect our own roles in life. I don't think that men really see themselves as being the protector anymore. I don't think that we see ourselves as being the creator and innovator that we have been over the centuries. And I don't know if women see themselves as the nurturer anymore. And once we lose those role ideas about ourselves, we don't find each other as attractive. And if we don't find each other attractive, then we don't move on with the next generation. In fact, a lot of times we say we don't even want to be in the same room with each other. That's not good for society. That's not good for society. I think that the inability to communicate with each other and the breakdown of relationships between people that are supposed to work together to build society, men and women, I think that's the first reason, the first root of the problem that has made people basically toxic with each other in the West. And it's a toxicity that pushes us out of the West. But that's a symptom. And in this video, we're talking about the roots. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, one watermelon, please.
Yes.
Yum, yum, yum. Yeah.
My camera. Anything else?
Oh my goodness. Woo.
Have a nice.
Oh man, that looks good to me right there. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, that's great. Fresh fruit is low cost. Fresh vegetables too, right here in Thailand. And by the way, if you're thinking of traveling like I do, and you're concerned about travel healthcare insurance, check out the first link in my description. It will give you more information on travel healthcare insurance. The second root of the problem that I don't think people respect enough as being a big issue in the future is demographics. We are not populating the earth with the next generation. What is this going to mean? Are we going to have enough people in countries to field a military? Many countries do not right now. They do not have the next generation to maintain their military. Many countries. What about long-term care? Long-term care for elderly citizens. Do we have the young people to care for them? Do we have the young people to maintain infrastructure? My goodness. All of this has to be done to maintain a society. If you don't have these things, then that society goes into a state of decline because it has to start shutting down itself to deal with the fact that it doesn't have enough people to maintain itself. And societies start getting stressed. The services go down for the few people that are left. The capability of getting quality health care, quality education, being able to have someone come into your home and care for you when you're older. All of these things get affected. The military gets strained, okay? People start getting nervous and people start to stress about the future because they start stressing, can we protect our country? This is stressful. And I think that the demographic issue is not discussed enough. What we talk about a lot are the symptoms of the crash in demographics, the symptoms, because that's what we feel and that's what we see around us. But we don't talk about the fact that we're simply not replacing our population. I can remember getting massages in the West and they would cost hundreds of dollars. Like, then you're expected to leave like a big tip, and it was like this little fingertip massage, you know, and you weren't sure, like, you left feeling like, I'm still just as sore as when I walked in the door. That's not the way you feel in Thailand. It costs, for a 1 hour massage like this foot massage, you are paying probably about $9, and it is absolutely incredible. A full body Thai massage, $12 to $14, and it is therapeutic. Very deep tissue. They know exactly what they're doing. They're experts. They are using their knees, they're using their elbows, forearms, everything And yeah, I get the 2-hour Thai massage about every other week. And then every other week I get this foot massage right here. Now I know that you're gonna think the third one is gonna be artificial intelligence, right? Of course, I did think about making that the third reason. I thought the third reason of why the West is in what I call managed decline, okay? It's being managed on its way down is because of artificial intelligence. However, I believe that AI is also a symptom. I think that AI is something that came out of these other issues. And so that's why I didn't add it to this list. But there is something that I do believe is the third reason why folks like me have decided to leave, why we really have turned sour on the West. Let's have a seat over here and talk about it. The third reason that I think the West is in a state of managed decline is because of a lack of empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is often confused with sympathy. Like you just sympathize with everyone that's around you. Like you have this feeling that everyone around you is in a state or of being a victim, and that you have to somehow cater to their victimhood. And maybe even that starts to extend to our own thoughts. We start to think of ourselves as being some kind of a victim. But that's not what empathy is. Empathy is the ability to understand the position of others, to understand where others are coming from. And I think that that's something that we've lost in the West. We've lost the ability to actually listen to what others have to say, and to say, I may not feel the same way as you, but I understand where you're coming from. We think that disagreement is an attack. It's not. We think that someone who is critical of you hates you. They don't. You are not forced to listen to what others say. That's not what I'm saying. But to empathize with them. In other words, let's put it into a scenario. If you're in a room and somebody wants to come in and just start criticizing you, you have every right to walk out of that room. And if you own the room, you have every right to say, get out of my room. Because you know what? Sometimes you're just not wanting to deal with it. But if someone disagrees with the position that you have, if someone has a different thought process on what you have about a subject, the ability to empathize where they're coming from and why they have that position is so important in life. It's how people work together to form a society, especially a free society. When you stop empathizing with those around you who disagree with you, you don't have a free society anymore, because you've now taken a position of dictatorship and authoritarianism. And you say, I am not going to understand where other people are coming from. And that's scary. And what's interesting is I see this happening on all spectrums and all sides of politics. Not just one. Nope. I see it happening on all sides. People are failing to empathize with where the other person is coming from. And once you do that, you're simply going to be always in a state of disagreement with each other, because you cannot reach across the table and say, I disagree with you. I have a different position than you do. I take a different stand on this than you do, but I respect the position that you're coming from, and I'm empathizing with how you got there. We are, of course, going to Chef Bing Pizza here in Bangkok. When I come through Thailand, this is when I get my pepperoni fix in. Here in Bangkok, we go to Chef Bing's. Hello. Chef Bing is a local boy here from Thailand, and he went to the States to work in a pizza shop in New York and brought back his skills. This is a real New York style pizzeria here in Bangkok. The thing about Thailand is that you can get the real pork pepperoni. Around Southeast Asia, if you order a pepperoni pizza, it might be a chicken or a beef, but not always pork. It's quite rare. Here, it's real pork and sourced locally. This is the large pepperoni that is not spicy, and then the smaller one is the cupped pepperoni. It is spicy, and they are both sourced locally right here from Thailand. Thank you. Here at Chef Bing, they make these fantastic wings with many different sauces. This is the spicy barbecue sauce. They also make great pastas here. This is a fantastic restaurant. Around me, there's like some families. I'm not gonna show them, in the video, but yeah, this is a family place, and it's a fun place to go when you're here in Bangkok. Oh my goodness, so much. This gives you an idea of the size of this pizza. Yowza. Now, I'll get a pizza like this, and I'll eat like maybe 3 slices, take the rest with me back to the room, and that gives me a couple days of food in the room, especially at night when I'm editing. Look at this right here. It stays right where it's supposed to be. This is real New York style. Crispy crust, spicy pepperoni, zesty sauce, lots of cheese. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I come here. This meal came up to about $30, and that's for this giant pizza that's gonna feed me at least 3 meals, and then those wings, which again is gonna be a whole nother meal. I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. Today was not an easy subject. Today we talked about what I think is happening in the West that's causing a lot of people like me to basically want to leave. Why do we want to leave? What is happening that makes us leave our countries and travel like this around the world? I mean, that's a serious decision to make. To make a decision to leave and to go travel to the far side of the world? Well, we talked about that today. And I wonder, are you interested in this lifestyle that I live? Traveling this way as a minimalist with one backpack around the world? If you are, like and subscribe to the video and come with. This is exactly what we talk about. If you want to know about the equipment that I carry in that backpack, there are links in the description for all of that. There's also a link in the description for my new book, The Traveler and the Bard. Okay, I'm going to continue and enjoy my walk here and my workout. New country next time that we talk. New country. We'll talk again soon. Aloha.
Terrorizing the streets of Bangkok, it's a monstrosity that came from beyond. A creature so powerful it'll crush the city. It's the mad dog of Bangkok.
Okay, so no more complaining about your job because we don't do this. They are cleaning out the sewer systems of Bangkok by hand. So yeah, we've had some miserable jobs, but yeah, we'll take the jobs that we had. Thank you.